Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In a previous video I talked about what a Zelda movie would look like if it existed, and I actually mentioned that I was doing my own. In this episode I really wanted to talk about it more because I'm honestly quite excited about it. I've been thinking about it for ages, and I've written in this little notebook here. It's not a very big notebook at all, in fact it's tiny. It holds everything I've sort of come up with so far. Let's go. Now Link is a very hard character to make because he has pretty much no personality in like 99% of the Zelda games. I think the internet's kind of made one for him and that's quite funny. But in my one, he wears green. He's a Kokori or whatever they're called. I actually forgot. My one is a bit different. Like the kids have adults and there's like family. It's like an actual place where people they have families and stuff like that, but Link doesn't. He's an orphan. He sort of sees the Deku Tree as his father figure, and he has Navi. She's a fairy at the end of the day. Obviously that's from Ocarina of Time, but it's a bit changed, it's a bit different. But he's a kid who's just full of adventure. He's sick of the forest in many ways. He wants to go out there and just explore, but he's crap at like everything. He can't shoot a bow, he can't ride a horse, he can't swing a sword. He's a pretty useless person, and he's a bit of an attention seeker as well. Like he gets into a lot of trouble. You know, he's sort of a bit of an outcast, but that's sort of how he is as a kid. Obviously there's then the time skip, and he matures a lot, and he is better with a bow. He can swing a sword, he can do stuff like that, but he isn't 100% at it. And he obviously goes from being this kid who can't do much to, at the end of the movie, spoiler, saving Hyrule. At the beginning of the film, his forest gets burned down by bokoblins and sort of Ganon, but he's like the only survivor, and he's forced to not only take revenge almost of the forest, but more to just to save Hyrule and to not let that happen again. It's quite Lord of the Ringsy. There's lots of different elements to it, and they all come together. And obviously Link gets the Master Sword, and he then has to save Now, I say he has to save Zelda. I really don't want Zelda to be your average, ow, come and save me, I'm stuck in the castle, because I don't like that. I think it's overused and it's a bit old. I do have a bit of that in it, just to sort of pay homage to it, because obviously that's what Zelda is about. It's about Link going to save Zelda who's trapped in a castle. So I did want to use that because I think Zelda's been there, but Zelda is a much more interesting character than that, and she isn't just a MacGuffin or a plot device. Quick break. Have you ever wondered what it must be like to sit on a cloud? It must be quite nice, till it starts to rain. Then you get wet feet. Some people like wet feet, but not me. No, not me. End of break. I really liked her in Breath of the Wild. I thought she was a really interesting character. I took a similar arc to that. At the start she's young, her mother is still alive then, but after the time skip her mother is since dead, and her mother's very magical. She was always into doing, I can't remember what it's called, but the magic she does in Breath of the Wild and in all Zelda games. I can't remember what it's called, that's weird. She's very into that, and the father is into that, but when her mother died he was very sad obviously, and he doesn't want Zelda to train in the magic. He's like, you must concentrate on becoming a good queen. Zelda doesn't necessarily want to become queen. She isn't very good at being a leader, but she also isn't very good at being the magic, and she tries to find out and study in secret at becoming good at using her powers and trying to learn how to use them. Thinks that she isn't good enough. Obviously she's ultimately proved wrong, but she is forced to become the queen and to lead Hyrule against Ganondorf. Is again a very iconic villain, but again, like most Nintendo villains, he's very 2D and flaccid. Not flaccid, that was not the word I was looking for. What plastic? Fucking hell. Okay, but I wanted him to be more of an interesting character, and I have written a bit of a backstory for him, and I don't want it to be too like, ooh, who's right and who's wrong, we can't tell anymore, but just to make him a little bit more interesting, a little bit more relatable. But ultimately we know he is the bad guy. He is the king's trusted advisor and sort of closest friend in some ways, but they're not really friends. He's sort of second in command, and he ultimately overthrows the king and rules the castle about maybe halfway through the film. It builds up and then it happens, and it's a bit of a turning point. And obviously he then rules, you know, Hyrule Castle and Hyrule itself, but Hyrule doesn't really accept them. Zelda ultimately rises up and becomes their queen, because she's obviously the next in line of the throne, but Ganondorf sort of takes that because he's second in command and Zelda's still young. But I want Ganondorf and Zelda to be together a lot in the film and to have quite an interesting dynamic, and you know, because Zelda obviously knew Ganondorf since she was very young. He's always been there, he's always been in the castle, he's been the king's, like I said, most trusted advisors, and she's always found him very suspicious and doesn't trust him, and that only develops over time. Other things, yeah, Zora's Domain is going to be in it, Rito Village, Gerudo's, Gorons, they're all going to be in it. They'll all get explored on Link's journey. The themes of this movie is about accepting yourself and being who you are, but also being who you're meant to be. I want this movie to be animated. I don't think Zelda would work in live action, and animation would work 100,000 times better. You need a big budget to do that, and you know, I'm not the best animator in the world. I don't think that's going to happen, so I think an audiobook could work. I could write an audiobook of it. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't know what the things are. I mean, I wouldn't make any money off it. I don't want to, but if you want to see that, I will probably work on it, you know, next year or during uni. I think that'd be really fun. I would love to do that. It would be a good way of getting the story out there without having to spend thousands on animation and even millions, you know. Obviously, I can't do that. So I think an audiobook could work. I think it'd be quite interesting. Hey everyone, I forgot to record an outro for this video, so if you did enjoy it, please subscribe. It means a lot. Comment if you would like to see this as a movie or as an audiobook or whatever. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'm probably going to make it into an audiobook after thinking about it, and so yeah, subscribe to see that because I think it'll be fun. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!